Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Judy from Inside and Out. My name is Lisa. Happy 2025. Oh my gosh. I think it's like maybe the third time I've said that. Okay, today I'm going to ask you, have you tried cream makeup and hated it? I don't think you've tried the right cream makeup, because cream makeup is the closest to your skin, especially if your skin is maturing. This is the makeup you want for you. But I'm going to tell you why Seint is standalone, set apart from all the other cream makeups that you might have tried. Keep watching. Let's get into this today.
If you're here, then you woke up today. And that is a blessing. Don't take that for granted. Don't waste it.
So let's get into our conversation today. Cream makeup, it has really been center stage, I'm gonna say, within the past few years. It is the rave. It's like the makeup, I think, that is gravitating a lot, especially if you have mature skin, because it's gonna give you the most youthful glow to your skin, which is what we're all trying to aim for, right? We want our skin to look healthy and glowy. And like I've mentioned many times before, as you're aging, there's a lot of things you cannot do anything about structurally to your face and what's happening, but you can control how your skin looks like with good skincare and also with cream makeup. So let me go ahead and start off with, yes, I'm affiliated with Seint makeup. However, when I first started using Seint, I was not. I really wore the makeup for probably about a solid year before I decided to take the leap and become affiliated with them. It first started out as a sales kind of marketing type of company, and now within the past, I'm gonna say 3 to 4 months, they changed and they're no longer an MLM. Now it's just an affiliated. So that's where I am standing now when it comes to Seint makeup. But as I said before, I didn't start out that way. I really like to use what I am trying out for, a good solid, let's say maybe a month, two, depending on what the product is, before I go ahead and just share it and say this is something worth investing your money on. So I am going to say, yes, I'm somewhat biased because I do have an affiliation with Seint, but it truly is separately a different kind of cream than a lot of the cream makeups that we're now just really seeing a whole lot of in the market now. And the reason I say that is because even though it is cream, the formulation of how this is made, this is where it's going to be a little bit controversy. It's cream, therefore what you put on underneath your makeup, like your skincare, especially right before, it's going to make a difference on how it maintains on your face throughout the day. However, it's not really creamy. I have tried other cream makeup to kind of just say and see if there is something that comes close to comparison. And although they are good, they have not worn out the day. And what I mean by that is that I have found that wearing Seint makeup, I have not had to retouch my makeup. Now, of course, it really depends on what I'm doing, right? I mean, even on a day where, let's say, I live in a climate where it gets very humid, so I do have to, throughout the day, maybe blotch my makeup so that, perspiration and what have not. But I'm talking about melting in the sun kind of thing. This stuff stays on. And there are, again, things that will make a difference of what you're doing when you are trying Seint makeup. I put it to the test, even with other cream makeups. Like I said, some are very creamy and they kind of do a lot of the slipping and sliding off your face. They don't wear well throughout the day, but that's not the case with this. Now, before I get into a few of the things that I think that is going to help when it comes to when you give Seint a try, it's going to really be based on a few of the things that I'm going to talk about. Okay, so as I apply my makeup, I'll get into the first point, or the first tip and my suggestion when you begin to use Seint. I always have in my description below, a color match. If you'd like to get a color match to see what shades are going to go well with you, down below in the menu. Because I believe, although on the site, you can choose your colors on your own. There's like a graph there that you can kind of estimate where you would sit, but there's nothing like getting a personal color match. Kind of like when you go into a makeup shop and you're going to sit at the counter and they're going to go ahead and do your makeup. They're doing basically a color match. They're seeing what is going to be the best foundation that's going to go well with you. But the neat thing about having me as that person, even though I'm not in front of you, I help you along the way. Think about that. When you go to a place to go and get your makeup done, once you leave the salon, you look amazing. But then you're never going to see that person again. I think that's one of the frustrating parts about that, because you're loving your makeup, but you can't replicate that because you don't know the way that they put it on. You just kind of sat there and they told you what they were applying. But this is where having someone like me to help you along the way, tweak the things that will help you give and keep you happy wearing this makeup. Because I believe that once you just know these little tips that I'm going to share, it's really going to make a difference on you sticking with this makeup. Again, I've been using the makeup for over 4 years now. I will not go with anything else. It's truly the thing, especially with my mature skin, was helped keep me happy with how my makeup is looking intact all day. And cream because it's glowy, right? So as I put my first one on, I have no makeup on. I went ahead and I just applied my sunscreen, which is tip number 1, guys. One thing I've noticed when it came to wearing cream makeup, that what you are placing underneath your makeup is going to have a lot to say with how long and how well your makeup is going to last. Now, whether it's sunscreen, which we should all be wearing sunscreen, right? I don't need to get on the whole preachiness about that. We should be all wearing sunscreen. But let's say that you have a little bit more drier skin and you like to add a little bit maybe of a moisturizer. Well, one thing to keep in mind is that because this is cream, when you are applying anything underneath your makeup that has like a silicone to it, whether that's in a setting spray that has silicone, or whether it's a moisturizer, or whether it's a sunscreen, especially with sunscreens and setting sprays, they typically have like silicone, because that is the glue that kind of will help most foundations cling. And with Seint makeup, you don't necessarily need a setting spray. Now, I say you don't necessarily because it really depends on your skin. If you have, and I have come to understand and realize that if you have more oily skin, then that is probably the time I'm going to say, yes, we're going to probably need to choose for you a setting spray that will help, because your skin may be on the oilier side. And again, these are cream. I say that no, it's not that you cannot wear Seint, but that's when you have to be picky about what setting spray you are applying to help grip it better. So typically oilier skin will have more of an issue, and not an issue, but just other ways to kind of tweak it so that you can be happy with the end result. Now, going back to not even using a setting spray. You don't necessarily need one. I believe that a lot of the sunscreens, you can use the setting sprays. These days, sunscreens have like already tinted that tint in them, as well as like a formulation to kind of just help that pre-process before applying your makeup, right? So choosing the right sunscreen, I say always, for the most part, is going to be crucial. Okay, so that's tip number one when it comes with Seint makeup, cream makeup. The second thing is going to be how you are putting this makeup on to begin with. Remember, all of our makeup, all of it, it's all cream. We have a couple of cream eyeshadows. Most of them are powdered for the most part, but like the actual makeup, the foundation, your contouring, and the bronzer are all cream. So putting up that first application, I think typically traditional makeup, what we're used to, and even with some creams, if you've seen what kind of like the most majority of the women do, is that they will place the cream like usually on a palette or behind on the back of their hand, and then get the brush and swirl enough into the brush, and then just start to like place it all over. Again, this is where Seint is very, very unique. The tints that the makeup comes in, you may look right off the bat and think that's not a whole lot of makeup. The actual foundation to each of these tints will last you at between like 4 to 6 months. And you're thinking, how in the world? And it's because you need very, very little product. I placed my color corrector, which is the first thing that I do on my face. And then I use a smaller brush to kind of get under my eye and kind of like on and around my nose. But when I am picking up the makeup, I'm not putting it on traditionally like I would do with cream. I'm just taking the brush and I'm picking up very little, and I am using that because, again, the pigment on this and the way this is formulated, it's not to grab a whole lot onto your brush. And if and when you do that, you will have and end up with very cakey makeup, sticky makeup, makeup that looks like it's going to just melt off. That's where a lot of the tweaking comes in when it comes to Seint makeup. And what you want to do for that first application, for that first kind of color correcting, and I believe that the way I have learned along the way, and initially even was shown by some of the women that were in this further along, was very, very helpful in that way for me personally to just really enjoy and love this makeup. So once I basically very little picking up product with that first shade, then I can go in with like my main shade. And in the tints, they may look very, very similar, but what the undertone on, like, let's say a color corrector shade would have, and what I mean by that is that may be the shade that's I am giving you to even out a little bit of your skin tone if you need it, right? All of our skin is very different. I personally need it because I do have a lot of hyperpigmentation, and I want to first initially even out that skin tone and then go in with my shade that fits my skin tone. So I go then in with that shade, and I will then now press this next portion of my makeup over my face. Now I have tweaked the way I apply my makeup very differently now, but this is the first, when you first learn how to apply the Seint makeup, this is typically how I would like for everyone to start. Then you can kind of find your own rhythm, but in order for you to fall in love with it and to really truly understand it, this is kind of the way and the first steps that I always suggest to do it. So I go and I just press this next portion of the makeup on my skin. Again, this is like my main shade foundation, and I place it like on my face, my whole face. For me, because I have the hyperpigmentation, I really want to have extra coverage. So it makes a difference also in the brush of choice that I am using, which kind of goes along with tip number 3. Brush choice does make a difference on how you want your makeup to look. Light coverage, medium coverage, heavier coverage. When I say heavier coverage, just to conceal what you're trying to conceal with, but you don't have to, it doesn't have to end up being makeup-y. Again, because you're applying this makeup, if you're doing it this way, over makeup, very, very thinly. So I go in now with that smaller brush and I go into the smaller areas of my face and I take that shade and cover for my main shade of color. Now, I don't keep it here. This is not like the last step before going into like fun colors as far as like your lip and cheek colors. However, this is one step that I believe really makes a difference on how the makeup is going to last throughout the day, one, and also to keep it looking like skin. There's a time and a place, I've always said, to have like your makeup worn heavier, special events and what have not. But I think especially as our skin matures, the best thing is to have, and if you look and are a makeup enthusiast, you'll see how the makeup, no makeup look is really the thing now. Like a lot of women are kind of steering away from applying a lot of makeup. If you go around and you look, even with the younger girls now, they're wearing less makeup. And so you do want your makeup to almost look like your skin, which again, hand in hand, I think, truly, hands down, it's with Seint. Again, I have not seen another cream out there that can do the magic that this cream can do when it comes to your makeup looking as close to skin. And that was truly the creator's concept when she created this this makeup. So once I kind of placed this last my foundation color on my face, right, then this is the next step that I said that I think also will help. That may not necessarily be a thing with maybe other cream makeups that you've chosen, but I believe it is when it comes to Seint makeup, and is using a sponge, not just any sponge. And again, I'm not trying to get you to buy a sponge from Seint, but it was created to absorb the excess of the cream that's on your face. Most of the beauty blenders are created to apply something, right? They're to press on the powder or add a little bit more of a contour, whatever. But this was created to absorb your excess cream on your face so that it doesn't look cakey. Okay, so, and there's a method of how to prep this. I explain in kind of detail when I give you a color match. So we can always come back to that. Or if you have any questions on how I actually prep this, leave it in the comments below. So what I do is I go ahead and I press this onto my skin. But basically what I'm doing, really rotating it around, is just absorbing any excess to the cream. Because now the next step that I'm going to do is my bronzer. I haven't really been contouring, but if you choose to contour, your contour, of course, now your cheek colors. And so you're adding now more of the different creams. So I want this foundation, this first step, to just really have any extra cream absorbed onto my beauty blender, okay? And that's kind of it, guys. Looks like skin, totally glowy, okay? Beautiful. I'm excited because, again, as I said, Seint is going global. Just opened up in the UK as of the 6th of January. So exciting. It's been like a few years in the works to go global, and there's other countries to follow. So if you are in the UK and you would like to give Seint a try, leave it in the comments below. And of course, I always have like links in my description below for the link shot for the site for Seint, as well as for getting a color match. So the next one that I'm putting on, guys, is my bronzer. I've limited it couldn't get the word out, to putting on just the bronzer to warm up my face, and then not contouring. I will contour if I'm going on a special evening out, but when I color match you, that's why it's important for me to get a picture of yourself with no makeup on. And I can see, I usually ask for you to have kind of like what I have on today, something that really allows me to see your neck and even down to your decollete, I forget the name of that, your chest. Because I want to make sure that I'm matching you to a color that will just be cohesive to your neck and to your face. Typically, we'll have a lot of darkness on our chest area, right? Because of the sun exposure. And then maybe like your neck may be lighter even than your face. And so I do that color for bronzing, and also to just, again, have like that cohesiveness so you don't have like the floating head kind of look when you apply your makeup. And like even for me, I usually have my ears exposed, so I will take like whatever bronzer I'm using and add that like little touch to my ears so they don't look like they're so obviously discolored from the rest of my face. It's all about cohesiveness and giving your entire face, neck, chest, ears, just that warmth to you. Right? I am also on Instagram and Facebook, although I'm usually more on Instagram. And what I mean by that is that I always share a lot of tips, or I put up some reels on just really quick tutorials, whether it's tips on maybe contouring your nose, your cheekbones, something maybe that I have shared that's been helping me, and maybe it'll help you. So if you're not following me there, or if we're not friends over on Instagram and Facebook, I have my links below also that you can go ahead and start doing that there, and just share a little bit more about like just my personal life on my stories. To kind of wrap this video up, again, going back to Seint just being like truly it stands on its own. This palette here, it holds my entire face. There are not a lot of creams out there that can say that. In one palette, now this is a medium-sized palette because it has two. There are other palettes that have like 3 levels, so you can add more. Smaller palettes that hold 4 tins if you want to kind of start out that way. My kind of happy medium is either this size or one that has a smaller one that holds 16, I believe. Like there's like 3, or is it more? It has 2 levels, but you can have like 1 level for your makeup and the other level for like your eyeshadows. So, but I really do like to have something large enough like this so that you can kind of have room to grow. Because once you start using Seint, you're going to get addictive. I mean, that was my experience. And anytime they come out with something new, a new shade, I love to be able to interchange them. Again, they're magnetic. I don't even know if I even mentioned that. So you are just pulling out whatever tin. Like I have 3 here that are getting ready to, it's time for like to order another one so I can have a backup so when this one kind of runs out. And that's kind of how I estimated. The other thing about this is that it's really cool is that because the way it's also formulated and made, once I kind of get down to where there is a lot of pan that's being seen, I can go ahead and melt this down to be able to have it evened out and look exactly how it started out. And I can get all of the cream out of this. I really can't say that with most of the makeup, the most cream makeups that are out there, because they may not form back to its original form like Seint does. So again, makes this very unique. And as I said, they're magnetic. So you pull it out, you replace it with the one that you rebuy. And then the same goes with like your eyeshadows. I think it's amazing how you can create your own personal eyeshadow palette without having to buy all of the entire palette of 2 colors that you actually liked. Choose your own colors and not have any waste behind, right? So the tints, as I said, they last a really long time. As far as your foundation and your color corrector, that will last at least, like I said, between 4 to 6 months. Your contour and like your bronzer will last like 8 months to a year, and your lip and cheeks can go a year and over, because again, you're not using them as often as your foundation, and you're using very, very little product. So truly, Seint makeup is, I believe, one of its kind. I wouldn't still be using it if I didn't believe that. If something's not working, then why keep using it? But it's going to make a difference on what you're doing to make sure that you are liking this makeup as much as I do. And I think that with the tips that I gave you earlier, that's going to definitely be a boost of help. Okay, so we're wrapping it up here this week with this video. And again, like, subscribe, share this video with someone who is a makeup enthusiast. Welcome UK to Seint World, and I'm looking forward to seeing your color matches in my form. Until next week, I'll catch you later. Bye. Love you.